Hello everyone, welcome back to Online Maths Hub. So today we have this problem on the board to solve, and it is pretty simple. We are just going to be doing it together. But just before we continue with this video, if you are new to our channel, kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel and also turn on the notification icon so that whenever we release new content, you actually get to know more about this. Our job here is to keep helping you out with your maths problems so that you begin to see mathematics as a very simple and fun subject to actually unravel. And so that we're just going to be proceeding with what we have for today. So here we have this question to solve. This is just a very simple Diophantine equation, and here we are having this question that said find all integral solutions to this equation. And of course you can see what we have here is x squared plus 1 bracket y squared plus 1 plus 2x minus y bracket 1 minus x y equal to 4 into 1 plus xy. So we're just going to be solving this together, and then you see how you can actually solve this kind of problems each time you have or you are faced with similar problems. So what we just do is we start by writing our solution. Okay, so and then of course we'll write our question. So what we have is x squared plus 1, and then we'll open this y squared plus 1 plus 2 into x minus y, and then into 1 minus xy equal to 4 into 1 plus xy. Okay, so this is what we have. So the first thing we want to do is actually to simplify these factors here. So we want to open this bracket right here. So what we're just going to do is we use this to multiply this. So what we are going to have is x squared times y squared. That's going to give us x squared y squared, and then we use this x squared to multiply 1 here, and then we're going to be having x squared, and then we use this 1 here to multiply this y squared, so we have plus y squared. Okay, and then we use this 1 to also multiply this 1 here, and then we have 1 times 1, which is 1. Okay, so we are going to be leaving this factor as it is because we are actually going to be needing it as like that as we progress. So I am just going to go ahead to rewrite it as it is. Okay, and then when we get to the other side of the equation, we just open this bracket right here. So 4 times 1 is 4, then plus 4 times xy will give us 4xy. Okay, so it's looking simpler now. So the next thing we want to do is actually to collect like terms. So we want to bring this 4x right to this side of the equation. So what we are just going to do is to bring it right here. So x squared y squared plus x squared plus y squared. So I'm just going to bring this one right, and of course if it comes here it turns to minus 4y xy, and then plus 1 plus, then I will write this term as it is, 2 into x minus y. Okay, let me close this. Okay, 1 minus xy, and is equal to, we are just having this 4 left on that side of the equation. Okay, so this is what we have right here. And then because we actually want it, there's a pattern we actually want this to be. What we are going to do is to split this stuff, this term we are having here. And of course, you know that minus 4xy can actually be written as minus 2xy minus 2xy. Of course, if you add these two terms, we are going to be having minus 4x. So we are going to replace this with this term right here. Okay, so that is what we are going to write in place of this. So writing it, we have x squared y squared plus x squared plus y squared minus 2xy minus 2xy plus 1 plus 2 into x minus y into 1 minus xy, and it's all equal to 4. So, okay, so this is what we have. And then if you observe clearly, you're actually going to be seeing that this term plus this and then this, okay, we actually give us a particular pattern. Okay, so let's just collect this term right here. Okay, so let me write this, and then I put in this one right here, plus 1, and then let me also rewrite this one, x squared plus y squared minus this 1 2 2xy, and then I'll write this term as it is 2 into x minus 1, okay, bracket close, 1 minus xy, and that's all equal to 4. Okay, now if you observe clearly, you will see that this term is something that we actually know, okay, and then of course if I write this is all equal to xy minus 1 in bracket squared. So this is what, if you expand this is what it's actually going to give you. And then this one you are seeing right here is actually x plus y all squared. Okay, so if, sorry, this is x minus y all squared. If you expand these brackets, it's actually going to give you this one. And then we'll also leave this term as it is, okay, x minus y, 1 minus xy, and it's all equal to 4. Okay, so it's looking very, very simpler now. So this is what we have. And then if you also observe again, you're actually going to be seeing that this whole thing right here is taking a pattern of what we actually know. Okay, now if you watch, this is same as this, and we can also make this one to be same as this. So what we are just going to do is just to factorize this minus out here, and then of course we can now make this one to look like this. So it is actually going to be taking this from x minus 1 squared plus x minus y squared, okay, and then if I factorize the minus, this plus is actually going to change to minus, and then of course I can also write this one first, okay, minus 1, and then y minus x minus y rather, and is equal to 4. Okay, now very good. So if you look at it now, you can see that this term is exactly as this term, and this term is also exactly as this term. This term inside the brackets, they are all similar and they are all the same. Okay, so what we are just going to do is to find a way to compress this. Okay, and if you observe this is looking as something like this. It is looking at as a squared plus b squared minus 2ab. Okay, so if you say that this term is a, okay, you also see the a here, and if this term is b, you also see it. So this whole thing is looking as this. Okay, and because it's looking as that, we can rewrite this whole thing as something else. Okay, so let me just go ahead, and of course you know that this term is same as a minus b squared. Okay, so using this idea that this whole term is the same as this, we are going to write this whole thing that we see here to be in form of a minus b bracket a minus b squared. Okay, now if I clean this right here, I'm going to write this whole thing as this is a x y minus 1. Okay, so let me put it in parentheses, and then minus, let's put our b is x minus y. Okay, and then this whole thing is actually going to be squared. So this term that we have here, if you expand it, this is actually what it's going to give you, and then it's equal to 4. Okay, so it's looking very much smaller right here. So what we are going to do at this point is to take the square root of both sides. Okay, and if we take the square root of both sides, let me see if I can put it right here. The square root of this, okay, minus x minus y, okay, and then the square root of 4. Of course, these two will cancel the square root here, and then we are left with x y minus 1. Okay, and then if I open that bracket right there, I will see minus x, and then plus y. Okay, so that's what we have on the left hand side, and it is equal to, if we take the square root of 4, it's actually going to give us plus or minus, okay, 2. So that's what we have. That's what we have right there. Okay, so what we are just going to do again is just to collect like terms here. So we collect these two terms that has x, this is what we have, and then we add this one, this remaining terms here, and we have is equal to plus or minus 2. Okay, now we can also factorize right here. So we simplify, we bring out the common factor here, which is x. So if you factorize x out here, you have y remaining, and if you factorize x out here, you will have 1 remaining. Okay, and of course we can also rewrite this one as it is, and then this is equal to plus or minus 2. Okay, so what we do again, because these two brackets are same, so we just collect 1. This is now x plus the coefficient, which is actually 1. Okay, and then y minus 1 is equal to plus or minus 2. So this is what we have at this point. You can now see that the product of x plus 1 and y minus 1 is equal to plus or minus 2. Okay, so now if this x plus 1, y minus 1 is equal to 2. So let's take the case of 2 first. Now, if this term is equal to 2, we are going to have the following system of equations. And this system of equation, number 1, this is what we have. Okay, so let me just write. We have that our x plus 1 is actually going to be equal to 2. Okay, and then our y minus 1 is going to be equal to 1. That is the first case. So let me just name this as B. And if this holds, we now have that our, which implies that our x is actually going to be equal to 2 minus 1. Okay, and that's actually going to give us 1. Okay, and of course we also have that our y is equal to 1. If this one crosses, you actually have 1 plus 2, and that is actually going to give us 2. Okay, so that is case 1, and then case A, and then case B. If this also holds, the next system of equation we are going to be having is that x plus 1 is going to be equal to 1, and then y minus 1 will be equal to 2. Okay, because basically if we have something like this, let's say A times B, if say that 8 times B is equal to 5. Okay, so it's this implies that it is either, and of course you know that 5 is also 5 times 1. So it's either A is equal to 5 and then our B is equal to 1, or our A is equal to 1 and then our B is equal to 5. And then there are also other cases. There can also be minus. So it's either our A is equal to minus 5 and then our B is equal to minus 1, or our A is equal to minus 1 and then our B is equal to minus 5. So this is just the cases we are going to be using to enlist the possible values of x that will make this equation to hold right here. So I'm going to clean now. From here, if this holds, then we can have from this case B that our x is equal to 1, and then this one crosses minus 1, and that's going to give us 0. And then our y will also give us 2 plus 1, and that's actually going to give us 3. So this will be the possible values, the values of x and y if case B holds. And then of course we also have C, that if this holds, if this happens, and then another system of equation we may have is that x plus 1 will be equal to minus 2, and then y minus 1 will be equal to minus 1. And if this happens, we have that our x is equal to minus 2 minus 1. That's going to give us minus 3. Okay, and then the y is equal to minus 1, okay, plus 1, and that's going to give us 0. Okay, so let me just erase here and then continue from there. Okay, so the first system of equation we are going to be having is this. Let me name it D. So we'll be having that our x plus 1 will be equal to minus 1, okay, and then our y minus 1 will be equal to minus 2. Okay, so this is also another case we have, and if this happens, this implies that our x is equal to minus 1 minus 1. That's going to give us minus 2, and then our y will be equal to minus 2 plus 1, and then that's actually going to give us minus 1. Okay, so these are just yielding, so it's actually going to yield the following solutions, yielding the solutions. So these are just the solutions we are going to be compiling from here. The first solution we had here is x is equal to 1, and then our y is equal to 2. So that is the first set of solution. And then for b, we are having that our x is equal to 3, and then our our x is equal to 0, and then our y is equal to 3. And then for c, we are having that our x is equal to minus 3, and then our y is equal to 0. Okay, and then for case D rather, we are having that our x is equal to minus 2, and that then our y is equal to minus 1. So these are the set of solutions we are going to be having if this term you are seeing right here is equal to 2. Now, on the other hand, secondly, if x plus 1 bracket y minus 1 is equal to minus 2. Don't forget what we had here was that x plus 1 bracket y minus 1 is equal to plus or minus. So we've considered the case of positive 2. Now, for us to consider the case of minus 2, so we are going to obtain the following system of equations. Okay, so let's just go. For A, we are having that our x plus 1 should be equal to minus 2, and then our y minus 1 will be equal to 1. Okay, of course, minus 2 times 1 will still give us minus 2. And so if that's the case, this implies that our x, it will be equal to minus 2 minus 1, and that's actually going to give us this will be equal to minus 3, and then our y will be equal to 1 plus 1, and which is going to give us 2. Okay, so that's the first case we have. Then let me just erase here. Okay, now for case 2, for B, another system of equation you have is x plus 1 will be equal to 1, and the y minus 1 will be equal to minus 2. So this is another case, and if this happens, this implies that our x will now give us 1 minus 1, and that's going to give us 0. So, and of course, y it will now be equal to minus 2 plus 1, and that's actually going to give us minus 1. Okay, and then for case C, another system of equation we may have is that x plus 1 will be equal to minus 1, and then for y minus 1 will now be equal to 2. So this is also another case we are going to be having, and if this happens, our x will now be equal to minus 1 minus 1, and that's going to give us minus 2. Okay, and then our y will be equal to 2 plus 1, and that's actually going to give us 3. Okay, so that's the second case we have. The third case that we are going to be having, and then finally the fourth system of equation will now give us that we should have, this is D, x plus 1 will be equal to 2, and then y minus 1 will be equal to minus 1. So that's what we are going to be having. Okay, and then if this happens, our x will be equal to 2 minus 1, and then that's going to give us 1. Okay, and our y will be equal to minus 1 plus 1, and that's going to give us 0. So this is what we have, and then the solution set we are going to be having. Okay, the solution sets are, okay, so for the first case, we are having that our x is equal to minus 3, okay, and our y is equal to 2. Okay, and then the second one, we are having that our x is equal to 0 and then our y is equal to -1. Then the third one, we have that our x is equal to -2 and then our y is equal to 3. Okay, and then for the fourth one, we're having that our x is equal to 1 and then our y is equal to 0. So these are just the set of solutions that actually satisfy this equation. Any of these solutions you pick and then substitute for values of x and y, you're actually going to see that this holds. You can actually go ahead and check it out. It works, and of course I've actually verified, so you can also verify it and see that these are the solution set of this equation. So you can go ahead and check it out and then see how it goes. So that is where we're going to be wrapping it up in this video. If you have enjoyed this video, kindly make sure you subscribe to this channel. Also turn on the notification icon so that whenever we release new updates, you actually get to know more about it. And of course, you go ahead and check it out for yourself. Make sure you like this video, and of course if you have any question based on what we have solved, you can also drop in a comment box and I will sure get back to you and respond to you. So thank you so much, and I'm going to see you guys in my next video.